Okay, now I got it pretty well cleaned out. I also yanked these running boards off, which gives me a chance to see what we got over here. You can see a little rustage right in here. It's fixable. Yeah, that goes through to there, but it's fixable. There's some bubbles here that I'll probably scrape off just to see what's under that. I just yanked these boards off so the bolts that hold them on are still front and back. This wasn't rusted out. I was glad to see this. This is a thing that your jack goes in to jack the car up, and the running board sits right on top of that, and it attaches here and up there onto the fender, and all that looks good. So we've got that rust there. We got some on the top of here, and we got some inside here. On the other side, we're looking actually very good. The outside of that running board, that's all solid here. This is all solid. This is all good. The only rust we got, all looks good all the way up to the front there, and the only rust we got is that little section right there. There is a hole. It comes out in here. You can see it. Let's see. I don't know if that's it. I know I could see daylight from in there, and maybe it's right here, right in here. Anyway, that needs fixing. That could use some fixing. But nothing very scary. I showed you where those windows were rusted in the corners, but there's nothing out here on the outside here. This all looks good. So this has got inside metal and outside metal, and apparently the rusty part is on the inside metal up in there. So popping that window out and fixing that would be good, but it's not critical. In other words, it's not something that if we didn't do it, or if we didn't do it right away, it's not going to cause too much damage. I think back in here we're in pretty good shape. I see a little rust right up in here, but that's not of great concern to me. That area there doesn't really support anything. All it is just a little shelf. Kind of encourages the air to stay inside of all the sheet metal that's around that air-cooled engine. So that's not a hard fix there. I'm sure as I take things apart, I'll find more. Probably if I pulled these fenders off and put them back on, I'd find a lot more. But I don't feel bad about what I'm looking at. So I guess the next big question is where to start. I think what I'll do is start up under the front end. I think up under the front end and up under here would be what I'd like to work on first. And I think before I do anything as far as these heater channels go in the front, I'm going to go look online and see what can be bought. It might be that I might be able to buy sections of that heater channel and replace them. That would be good. It probably wouldn't hurt if I can do it to pull the pedals out of here. Yeah, that would probably be good if I can do that. And I think those pedals mount on this one. I think they mount to the tunnel that goes down through there. But if they were out of the way, that would sure be helpful, wouldn't it? Oh yes, it would. I'm answering myself. By the way, I got a nifty little cassette player here if anybody wants one. It's still got a speaker connected to it. And I've got a radio with a 4-track cassette. That's an 8-track there, and I got a 4-track back yonder that came out of here too. So I just got an abundance of vintage radio equipment here that I could stand to get rid of. I like this little booger. It's kind of like working on a little eggshell, you know. You got a little eggshell with a front end and a rear end and a motor, and pretty sweet little setup. I'm going to go look online and see what kind of parts are available, and then I might come back and pull the pedals out and pull that brake line out. I'd like to get it out from in there and all.